morning. It's Sunday morning and I know this is a little late, but I wanted to show you guys this week as your bonus how to make French press coffee. And actually, there's my water boiling. Hold on a second. To me, French press is one of the best ways to drink coffee. It's a little more difficult, so it's a bit of a treat on a weekend, a nice brunch, to have a really good cup of coffee. And I was going to put this up earlier so you guys could see it before the weekend, but then I found out my glass French press had broken, and we only had the stainless steel one, and you couldn't really see what was going on. So I had to order a new one off of Amazon, and it didn't show up until late yesterday afternoon. So I'm going to go ahead and show you now. So the first thing is your equipment. And this is one of the reasons I love French press. It doesn't take a whole bunch of fancy equipment. You don't need a $200 espresso machine or anything like that. All you need is your French press, and actually two pieces here. This is a single serve size, so I can do this when I'm just home by myself and not have to make a whole bunch. Or this bigger one, this would make 2 big cups of coffee. And a note on a cup of coffee, when you look at these, this is actually 3 cups, but a cup of coffee is generally 5 ounces. So this is only 15 ounces. So if you want a 12 ounce or 15 ounce cup of coffee, you need to get a 3 cup French press. The other thing you need, and this is important, is the conical burr grinder. And I love this one because it has this adjustment screw on it. And so you can really fine tune your grind if you were gonna do espresso and stuff. This can get really fine, or it can get really coarse. We have an electric one, and this one actually has more range than that electric one does. It's manual, so it takes a little extra work, but again, for one person, a cup of coffee, it's not a big deal. And then our tea kettle. You could boil water in the microwave just as easily in a cup, but just happened to do it in the kettle. And then our coffee cup, obviously. So the beans. Since you're going through all this trouble to make a great cup of coffee, you really want to start with some good coffee beans. The yeast is called Chocomel, which is chocolate and caramel, and these just have been smelling up my kitchen for about 4 days. So we're going to start with boiling our water. And what you want to do is you want to get your water up to a boil and then let it sit while you're doing the other thing to bring the temperature down. You want the temperature down around 200 degrees. Otherwise you'll scald your coffee beans and you'll get that really bitter taste. I'm going to go ahead and pour some hot water in here just to heat up the glass. So we have our hot water in our French press here. And for the 15 ounces, we're going to add just about under a quarter of a cup. And you can adjust this as you go if you decide that a quarter cup's not enough, your coffee's not strong enough, or you decide it's too strong. That's one of the beautiful things about this is you can adjust it to how you like it. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in there and just grind this up. Okay, that's all done. I can tell because it just turns really smoothly. There's no resistance. So then we're just going to pour out our water here. Add our ground beans. And add in our hot water just enough to get those wet, and use a wooden stir here, just a wooden chopstick, and let that off gas because there's CO2 in those beans that's going to come out, and just let that sit for about 30 seconds. Fun fact while we're waiting, the modern French press was actually designed by an Italian guy. He has the first patent on it back in like 1920 something. And then there's a newer version that you see today was another Italian, developed in the 1950s, 1960s. All right, so that's been 30 seconds. We're gonna go ahead and finish filling that. add our top here with the plunger up, and we're gonna let that sit. We're gonna set our timer for 4 minutes. Start with 4 minutes. That's, I guess, the generally accepted best time if you go and look up French press on the internet. But then start with that and see how you like it, and then adjust your time from there. Oh, husband's over there making faces at me, but while we're waiting, note on the grinder. I think I said this, but if I didn't, look for a conical burr grinder. And what that means is, I'm gonna go ahead and take this apart. Messing up my grind, but we'll fix it. If you take this apart, this is your grind wheel. And as you can see, it's shaped like a cone. So as the beans go down here and they go down into these ridges, and they just get ground up smaller and smaller and smaller as they go. For the French press, you want a coarse grind, which I actually found an awesome way, came with the grinder to describe what that is, and it should look like coarse kosher salt. If you've ever seen that, it's big chunks of salt. So you should have about the same thickness of particles as a kosher salt. And so when you're trying to set that, so I'm gonna have to go back and reset this now, but just put maybe some old beans or some coffee that's not as good in here, but just like 5 or 10 of them, and grind them up until you get that desired size. So that's that. And we are countdown 5 seconds. So that's some good time in there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. And now that you've let it sit, you've let it brew for a while, you wanna smoothly push this down, and basically you just rest your hand on top and don't push, just let the weight of your hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Let the weight of your hand push that down, and you wanna get a nice, even, slow, push that down like that. And then when you go to pour this, I forgot to get a cup, that one already has coffee in it, but when you go to pour this out, I usually leave a little bit in the bottom, just because you are going to get some sediment. Even though it is a coarse grind, there's going to be little pieces that come out when you pour that. So let me go get a cup. We're just going to pour that in there, and if you're paranoid, you can just put your finger on the top there. There you go. And so if you had a bigger one and you just even let it sit, even if you poured out half of it and let the rest of that sit, the rest of that, because your grinds are in the bottom here, it is going to brew some more and could get more acidic and bitter as it goes. But anyway, I'm gonna go take this to hubby now.